Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB and today is the 2nd of December 2024. And if you look at the price of Bitcoin, guys, it is almost at $97,000 and it's going to be really interesting to see if the price of Bitcoin crosses the $100,000 mark in the month of December, isn't it? So really interesting times ahead. Now look, guys, it is really important to note that on the 10th of this month, the FOMC meeting will be out. And based on my understanding, guys, Federal Chair Jerome Powell most likely will keeping the interest rate the same, and if that thing happens, there is a very high possibility that the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency should be pumping up. But before those dates, I'm definitely expecting some price volatility, so definitely keep an eye on those dates. Now looks like with President Donald Trump getting re-elected, the numbers are definitely looking great, not just for the price of Bitcoin, but also for the global cryptocurrency market. And at the geopolitical level, guys, looks like we're definitely heading towards world peace, isn't it? Now in today's episode, guys, we do have a really interesting development, and this is to do with BRICS. And President Donald Trump just a few hours ago, he did actually put a very strong message to the BRICS nations, where he's actually telling them not to go ahead and launch a new cryptocurrency, because if that thing happens, guys, the value of the US dollar will go down, isn't it? And he has actually warned them with some really strong tariffs. Now look, guys, I very strongly feel that this particular tweet or message by X will definitely have very strong consequences in the next coming days, months and years ahead as well. So what I'd really recommend you to do is, guys, go ahead and read through the entire tweet. Now what I'll do, guys, in today's episode, I'll go ahead and explain what that tweet is. I'll also go ahead and discuss how this particular news will impact the US dollar. And finally, guys, I'll go ahead and share my thoughts and opinion on how this particular news will impact the price of Bitcoin. Because look, guys, President Donald Trump is a massive advocate of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, isn't it? So it's going to be really interesting to see what the response by the BRICS nation is. Now look, guys, while Joe Biden was in charge, the BRICS nations completely rolled over the United States of America, isn't it? But with President Donald Trump getting re-elected and the number of nominations he's been making, I'm pretty much sure it's going to have drastic consequences, not just for US, not just for BRICS nations, but for the entire world as well. So we'll have to wait and see how the world reacts to this particular news. Now regarding Bitcoin, guys, we do have a really interesting development. And the UK pension scheme, guys, they invested in Bitcoin. But look, guys, a lot of mainstream media are actually calling it a terrible move. But it's really important to understand, guys, that they invested in Bitcoin few days before the US election. And it's needless to say, because of the US election outcome, the price of Bitcoin has almost doubled since then, isn't it? So what I'll go ahead and discuss, guys, is if this particular move by them was a genius move, or was it a deeply irresponsible move as it is portrayed by mainstream media. So let me know, guys, what are your thoughts regarding this. Now the next news, guys, is connected to Ripple or XRP. And since the last week, guys, XRP or Ripple's market cap has definitely pumped up to the moon, isn't it? And there are two reasons for that, guys. One is because Gary Gensler is thrown out of the office. Looks like the whole drama between XRP and SEC will completely be shut down, isn't it? But along with that, guys, there is a very high possibility that Ripple stablecoin, that is RLUSD, will be launched in the next coming days. So because of a combination of these things, looks like the token that is XRP has been pumping up quite a lot. So we'll definitely go ahead and take a deep dive into this. Now the final news, guys, is kind of like a funny one. And this is connected to $6.24 million worth of banana. And Justin Sun, guys, who was the founder of Tron, he did actually buy a banana which was costing $6.24 million. And there's a video of him circulating going ahead and eating that banana as well. And he did actually state that the banana tasted really good as well. So we'll definitely go ahead and very briefly touch base on this news. Now look, guys, the cryptocurrency world is always filled with a lot of drama and excitement, isn't it? So quite a lot to cover, guys, in today's episode. And like we do in every Crypto and Coffee 88 series, we will be looking at two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now both the news, guys, today has to do with artificial intelligence. Now the first news has to do with American University in Dubai, and they have launched Masters of Science in Artificial Intelligence. So I'll definitely go ahead and discuss this. Now I'm really curious to check, guys, in their curriculum if they do have podcasts as a source of material. But nonetheless, guys, I'll definitely go ahead and share my thoughts and opinion on this news. Now the second news is regarding DMCC, that is Dubai Multi-Commodity Center. And looks like they're going heavy on Web3 and artificial intelligence. And they are building these things with Vietnam, guys. And they want to unlock $20 billion in trade. So I'll definitely go ahead and give out more information regarding this. So quite a lot of cover, guys, in today's episode actually. Let's kickstart with it right away. Thank you to our sponsors for being part of the Blockchain DXB journey. Firstly, Advanced Media. Advanced Media, guys, is the largest distributor of professional video, photo,
broadcast and cinematic equipment, and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red, and Rode. As a matter of fact, guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they're focusing on 3 P's, that is people, planet, and prosperity. Now listen, guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website, that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so, guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE. So definitely check it out. And also, guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing, and hosting training workshops, seminars, and community events that educate, inform, and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen, guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen, guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing. Go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform. Check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And finally, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below.
Now, guys, since you've taken care of that, let's kickstart by looking at the global cryptocurrency market. Now, the global cryptocurrency market today, guys, is at a staggering $3.44 trillion. Now, since the last 72 hours, guys, looks like the global cryptocurrency market has pumped up by almost $300 billion. And since the last 24 hours, guys, it is actually up by 0.51%. And if you look at the total cryptocurrency market volume, guys, it is at a staggering $153.03 billion. Now, look, guys, you need to understand that I'm recording this podcast in the early hours of Dubai. And technically, it is still Sunday in most of the Western countries. Now, keeping that thing in mind, guys, these numbers are absolutely brilliant, to be honest. cause never in the history on a weekend or early hours in Dubai or early hours in Monday in Dubai, these metrics have ever crossed the $100 billion mark. To be honest, on an average given weekend, these numbers used to be somewhere between the $30 to $50 billion mark. On a really great weekend, guys, this number occasionally has crossed the $60 billion mark, to be honest, but since President Donald Trump getting re-elected, the numbers have been crossing the $100 billion mark, and now the $150 billion mark over the weekend as well, isn't it? So really great numbers, to be honest. And since the last 24 hours, it is actually up by 1.02%. Now, unfortunately, guys, if you look at the volume of decentralized finance, these numbers are absolutely horrendous. And I've been saying this over and over again, guys. If you look at the volume of decentralized finance since the last few years, the numbers have actually been on a downtrend. And today, the volume of decentralized finance is only at $11.09 billion. And DeFi, guys, as of today, is accounting for only 7.25% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. And if you look at the total value locked, guys, it is at a staggering $127.66 billion. And Lido still dominating so far as total value locked is concerned. And in terms of dollar value, the total value locked is $36.54 billion. And decentralized to centralized exchange dominance, guys, is at a staggering 34.10%. Now let me quickly run through the volume of decentralized exchanges. Now in comparison to the previous last 3 weeks, the numbers have marginally gone down, but it is still extremely great, to be honest. Now Uniswap's volume is at $2.90 billion. Now Uniswap is leading the pack, guys, and its 24-hour volume is $2.90 billion. Radium is at number 2nd, and its 24-hour volume is $1.60 billion. Aerodrome is at number 3rd, and its 24-hour volume is $1.16 billion. PancakeSwap is at number 4th, its 24-hour volume is $1.06 billion. And Orca is at number 5th, its 24-hour volume is $475.87 billion. Now, one matrix, guys, which I'm definitely liking since the last 4 weeks, that is the volume of stablecoins. And today, once again, it is at a staggering $136.46 billion. And stablecoins as of today is accounting for 89.18% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. And out of this $136.46 billion, guys, it is needless to say that Tether USDT is leading the pack, isn't it? And the volume accounts for $123.45 billion, followed by Circle USDC at $6.89 billion, and FTUSD is at number 3rd. Its 24-hour volume is $5.90 billion. Now let's quickly run through the market cap, 24-hour trading volume and dominance between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now look, guys, just a few weeks ago, there's a very high possibility the market cap of Bitcoin to cross the $2 trillion mark, isn't it? But unfortunately, guys, Joe Biden decided to provoke a war between Ukraine and Russia, and because of that, the prices of Bitcoin and the global cryptocurrency market did actually go down. But since the last few days, guys, looks like because of Trump nominating a lot of people for his cabinet members, people are convinced that once President Donald Trump is sworn in, the world would be heading towards peaceful resolution, isn't it? And looks like only because of that, the prices of Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market is pumping up. And as I mentioned earlier, guys, the FOMC meeting is scheduled to take place in the next couple of days as well. So because of that, the price of Bitcoin is pumped up. And today it is at $1.91 trillion. Now Ethereum, guys, its market cap has pumped up a lot as well. Today it is at $443 billion. If I'm not mistaken, guys, last Thursday, the market cap of Ethereum was around the $390 billion mark, isn't it? And as we speak right now, guys, in Saudi Arabia, there is an Ethereum conference taking place as well. And I'm pretty much sure that event, there will be a lot of announcements and partnership that will be taking place as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see, guys, how the market cap and the price of Ethereum reacts by the end of this year. Now, if you look at the 24-hour trading volume, Bitcoin's 24-hour trading volume is $33.95 billion, whereas Ethereum's 24-hour trading volume is $28.01 billion. Now, the dominance of Bitcoin, guys, has marginally gone down, and today it is at 55.87%, whereas Ethereum's dominance is exactly at 13%. Now, what I want to do next, guys, is I want to run through some volume regarding bridges, and what I'm looking at is the 7-day volume of bridges in the cryptocurrency and blockchain protocol. Now, at this point of time, guys, you should know that a bridge is essentially a protocol that enables transfer of assets or data between different blockchain networks, and they help in facilitating interoperability, isn't it? And if you look at the total 7-day volume across all bridges, guys, it is at $4.64 billion. Now, this number does look ridiculously small, isn't it? Because you're talking about cryptocurrency and blockchain working 24 hours a day, and there are no geographical restrictions as well. Now this number in an idealistic world should have been 100 times of what it is right now, to be honest. But nonetheless guys, if you look at the 7-day volume of these bridges, it is only at $4.64 billion, and the number one bridge is across, and its 7-day volume is at $429.9 million. The second one is Circle CCTP. In terms of 7-day volume, it is $721.55 million. The third one is Mesom. It is at $538.19 million. Stargate is at number 4th. Its 7-day volume is $386.87 million. And Orbital Finance guys is at number 5th. Its 7-day volume is $342.72 million. Now guys, let's go ahead and look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. And the price of Bitcoin is at $96,959. And since the last 24 hours, it is marginally up by 0.01%. And since the last 7 days, it is up by 0.22%. Ethereum is at $3,687. But since the last 24 hours, it is marginally down by 0.37%. But since the last 7 days, it is up by 10.53%. Solana Sol guys is at $235. And unfortunately, since the last 24 hours, it is actually down by 1.98%. And since the last 7 days, it is down by 6.09%. Now look guys, just few hours ago, President Donald Trump did actually put out a really stark warning via Twitter. So let me do one thing guys. Let me go ahead and read out the entire tweet. Cause look, I do feel guys that because of this particular tweet, a lot of the BRICS nations will be reacting to this. So what President Donald Trump did actually mention via Twitter on X is, the idea that BRICS countries are trying to move away from the dollar while we stand and watch is over. We require a commitment from these countries that they will neither create a new BRICS currency nor back any other currency to replace the mighty US dollar, or they will face 100% tariffs and should expect to say goodbye to selling into wonderful US economy. And he further went on to say guys, they can go ahead and find another sucker. And he finally said that there is no chance the BRICS will replace the US dollar in international trade, and any country that tries should wave goodbye to America. This, to be honest guys, is definitely a very powerful tweet, isn't it? And if you look at the number of views guys, while I'm recording this podcast, it has already reached a staggering 72 million views, and this just happened in a matter of few hours guys. Now look guys, I very strongly feel, because of this news, the entire BRICS nations will definitely be taking this very seriously, isn't it? So what I want to do is guys, I want to go ahead and share my thoughts and opinion on how this particular news will impact the US dollar. Then I want to go ahead and share my thoughts and opinion on how the BRICS nations might react to this news. And finally guys, the most important thing, what kind of an impact will this have on the price of Bitcoin? Now look guys, regarding the impact on the US dollar, we need to understand that the US dollar's dominance as the global reserve currency is a cornerstone of American influence, isn't it? And it does enable the US to borrow cheaply and at the same time maintain economic stability as well. And the aggressive stance to impose 100% tariff on BRICS nations guys and demand loyalty to the dollar could potentially backfire as well. But at the same time guys, it could be beneficial to United States of America as well, isn't it? Now let me do one thing guys. Let me go ahead and share my thoughts and opinion on what way it could potentially backfire to United States of America. And then guys, what I want to do is, I'll go ahead and share my thoughts and opinion on how this will positively impact the US dollar. Now regarding the negative aspect guys, I could only think it'll be a strain on the global trade relationship, cause such an ultimatum by President Donald Trump may alienate not only BRICS nations, but also other countries that are sympathetic to the cause, including emerging economies who are already skeptical of the dollar dependency. And this guys could result in reduced dollar usage in international trade, weakening its status as a global reserve currency. And could we have an economic blowback because of this? Cause look guys, high tariffs could escalate trade wars, and it could potentially harm US exports and imports, and there is a very high possibility that American consumers would face higher prices for goods, exacerbating inflation, while industries reliant on BRICS source raw materials or products could experience potential disruption as well. And look guys, there is also potential of dollar diversification momentum, and instead of discouraging de-dollarization, these threats by President Donald Trump could actually prompt more nations to diversify their reserves into other assets, such as let's say gold, the euro, or what about the Chinese yuan guys, and this could further erode the dollar's dominance, isn't it? And because of this guys, there is a very high possibility that the US might have soft power, and the US's ability to influence global economic policies to dollar would diminish, potentially ceding geopolitical power to nations like China and Russia. But look guys, the chances of that thing to happen is pretty much slim, isn't it? Now one of the reasons why President Donald Trump wants to put 100% tariffs on these nations is only because he wants to go ahead and discourage them to create a new currency, isn't it? So I do feel guys, because of this news, there will be positive impact on the US dollar as well. So let me do one thing guys. Let me go ahead and share my thoughts and opinion on how this particular move by President Donald Trump will react positively for the US dollar. And the first thing I can think of is, it would actually reinforce the dollar's dominance, isn't it? And I do feel guys, by issuing a clear warning to BRICS nations, the United States of America demonstrates its commitment to defending the dollar's status as a world reserve currency. And this strong stance by President Donald Trump may discourage other nations from attempting similar de-dollarization efforts, thereby reinforcing the dollar's central role in global trade and finance. Now look guys, I do feel that because of this message by President Donald Trump, he's also having a very strong leverage, isn't it? And the threat of 100% tariffs by him could give the United States of America significant negotiation power over BRICS nations, as these economies rely heavily on access to US market for exports, and the potential loss of that market might force them to reconsider efforts to undermine the dollar, isn't it? And look, as I very strongly feel, imposing tariff on BRICS nations could actually benefit domestic industries by reducing reliance on imported goods, and this would actually encourage local production. And this, to be honest guys, is kind of like a move towards economic protectionism, isn't it? And this protectionist approach may actually create more jobs, boosting American manufacturing and strengthening key sectors. And I do feel guys, because of this news, there will be a lot of investor confidence as well, because a decisive stance on maintaining dollar leadership could reassure global investors of the US economy's stability and leadership. And this confidence guys, I very strongly feel will attract more foreign investment in US assets, thereby further strengthening the dollar. And I do feel guys, by this particular move, President Donald Trump also wants to support allied economies, and by curbing BRICS' efforts to de-dollarize, the US reinforces economic system reliant on the dollar, benefiting allied nations and maintaining the interconnected trade ecosystem that does actually support American financial interests. Now look guys, if you're an American, you should definitely be happy about this. Now if you're someone who is a Democrat or a left-leaning administration, you'll definitely be upset with this particular news, isn't it? Now what I want to do is guys, I want to go ahead and discuss, because of this message, how might the BRICS nations react to this particular news. Now look, since the last few years, the BRICS bloc have been vocal about reducing reliance on the dollar, isn't it? And I do feel that such a strong message by President Donald Trump are likely to deepen the war, isn't it? And the BRICS nation might actually accelerate the development of the proposed common currency, or even deepen bilateral trade agreement using local currencies. And this particular move by them would actually further undermine the dollar in key trade corridors, particularly in energy sector, agriculture and manufacturing sectors as well. And there's a very high possibility the BRICS bloc could actually reach out to other economies that are also exploring alternatives to the dollar. And there's a possibility a broader coalition could actually hasten the adoption of a multipolar currency ecosystem, thereby marginalizing the dollar even further. But look, as President Donald Trump will be sworn in on the 20th of January, isn't it? And I do feel, based on my understanding, the time for them to go ahead and make any changes right now will be next to impossible. But look, I do feel guys that the BRICS nations could actually go ahead and increase trade among themselves, and they can do that by focusing on inter-BRICS trade, and the BRICS bloc could actually shield itself from the US tariffs, while at the same time fostering self-reliance. For instance guys, one thing I can think of is China. China's technological and manufacturing power could actually complement Russia's energy resources and Brazil's agricultural output, thereby reducing dependency on the Western market. But what about digital currency development guys? This could have been an area where BRICS could have taken an advantage, isn't it? But based on my understanding guys, they're definitely not adopting Bitcoin, or not even XRP or Ripple for that matter. But look guys, there is a very high possibility the BRICS nation could fast-track the adoption of central bank digital currencies, which would facilitate cross-border payments without relying on SWIFT on the US dollar. But look guys, based on my understanding, President Donald Trump wants peace, isn't it? Now what the BRICS nation can actually do is, rather than fighting against the US dollar, what if they go out and try to work alongside President Donald Trump guys? That would be a win-win solution for everyone, isn't it? And I very strongly feel guys, they could probably reduce momentum for de-dollarization, because the strong warning given by President Donald Trump could actually have severe consequences so far as tariffs is concerned. And faced with the threat of exclusion from the US economy guys, BRICS nations might opt to compromise, ensuring continued reliance on the dollar for trade. And right now, if you look at the BRICS nations, guys, they are extremely dependent on the United States of America, isn't it? And the prospect of 100% tariffs by President Donald Trump might actually compel BRICS nations to maintain favorable trade relations with the United States of America rather than fighting back against them, because they don't want to be in an economic isolation, isn't it? And this, guys, could actually increase the dependency on the dollar for international transactions. So it's going to be really interesting to see, guys, how these nations are going to react to this. But what I want to do is, guys, I want to go ahead and discuss how this particular news will impact the price of Bitcoin. Because look, guys, since the last few months, President Donald Trump has been a massive advocate on Bitcoin, isn't it? So let me go ahead and talk about global hedge against the dollar volatility, adoption and sanctioned or isolated economies, Bitcoin as a store of value. Then I also want to touch base on increased retail and institutional interest. And finally, guys, I want to touch base on volatility challenges for Bitcoin. Now, regarding global hedge against dollar volatility, guys, it's needless to say, as the trust in the dollar erodes, Bitcoin's distributed nature makes it an attractive alternative, and nations or corporations wary of US monetary policies or sanctions might actually turn to Bitcoin for trade and reserves. But look, as the BRICS nations, they're definitely not adopted Bitcoin, isn't it? And India and China, guys, they are massive detractors of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. But look, as had they gone ahead and adopted Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, then it would have been a complete picture, isn't it? So it looks like the BRICS nations are completely late to the game regarding Bitcoin. And President Donald Trump, guys, he is actually an advocate of Bitcoin now, isn't it? Now, regarding Bitcoin, guys, when you think about its adoption in sanctioned or isolated economies, I very strongly feel, guys, for BRICS nations or allies under economic pressure, Bitcoin provides a censorship-resistant mechanism for international trade, and its borderless peer-to-peer system bypasses traditional banking restrictions, isn't it? And that makes it ideal for countries facing US imposed tariffs or sanctions. But look, guys, what President Donald Trump can do is, he can go ahead and make severe restrictions on miners, making sure that miners don't go ahead and approve these transactions. So there are different ways how the United States of America could actually go ahead and fight against sanctions as well. Now, regarding Bitcoin as a store of value, guys, at this point of time, everyone knows that Bitcoin's cap supply offers a hedge against inflationary fiat currencies, and as global confidence in fiat system wanes, institutional investors, central banks, and individuals may increasingly allocate portions of their portfolios to Bitcoin. And if you see, guys, since the last few months, a lot of the billion-dollar companies, they have gone ahead and bought Bitcoin and put it onto the treasuries, isn't it? I don't know any of the tech companies from the BRICS nations where they have gone ahead and made such moves, isn't it? So look, guys, it's clear to say that the BRICS nations are extremely late regarding Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Imagine if they were a few steps ahead, then this whole situation regarding tariffs would have actually worked in favor for them, isn't it? So I don't see any other way, guys, for them to actually agree to what President Donald Trump is saying. And regarding increased retail and institutional interest, guys, rising demand from both governments and private entities could actually boost Bitcoin's price and legitimacy, potentially driving broader adoption across both developed and developing nations. Now, regarding volatility challenges, guys, it is needless to say that Bitcoin is extremely volatile, isn't it? So it is important to understand, guys, that Bitcoin's price volatility remains a double-edged sword, and while it offers potential gains, nations and institutions adopting it must contend with risk associated with unprecedented price swings, making complementary strategies like stablecoin adoption crucial. So it's going to be really interesting to see, guys, how this particular message by President Donald Trump is taken by the BRICS nations. Now look, guys, I've been saying this over and over again, what the BRICS nations could have done is, they could have gone ahead and created their own stablecoin, or even what they could have done is, they could have simply adopted Ripple or XRP, and that would have been an absolute game changer for them. But looks like they're clearly late to the party, isn't it? But one party, guys, that is not late, that is the UK pension scheme. Now it's really important to note, guys, that in early of November before the US election, a particular pension scheme, guys, did actually allocate 3% of the assets to Bitcoin, but this is now seen as a controversial move, guys. Now some advisors like Cartwright, they call it a strategic decision with significant upside potential, but at the same time critics have actually argued it is kind of similar to gambling with retirees' future, and some experts like Colin Law and Daniel Wetscher have actually warned against such speculative investment, and they are emphasizing the volatility and lack of intrinsic value in crypto assets. So what I want to do is, guys, I want to go ahead and share my thoughts and opinion if the UK pension scheme getting into Bitcoin was a genius move, or was it a deeply irresponsible move? So only time will tell if this was a genius move or a deeply irresponsible move, isn't it? Now talking about it being a genius move, guys, I do feel the decision to allocate 3% to Bitcoin was made just before the US election, a period often marked by financial market optimism, and with Bitcoin's price nearly doubling since then, the pension fund is already reaping substantial gains, and according to me, guys, this particular move reflects foresight in identifying an asset with strong growth potential, as well as diversification benefits as well, and more importantly, hedge against inflation, isn't it? And more importantly, guys, I do feel by limiting exposure to only 3%, the scheme retains its focus on traditional assets, while at the same time unlocking the upside of an emerging and lucrative asset class. And if Bitcoin trajectory continues to go upward, guys, this allocation could significantly enhance returns for retirees, isn't it? But at the same time, guys, look, Bitcoin's price is extremely volatile, isn't it? So some of them also saying that this is a really deeply irresponsible move as well. And some critics, guys, do actually argue that allocating pension funds to Bitcoin does actually disregard the fundamental principles of prudent long-term investment. And look, guys, Bitcoin prices have fallen down miserably in the recent past as well. And Bitcoin's extreme volatility and lack of intrinsic value does make it inherently speculative, even unsuitable for a pension fund's primary goal of securing stable, reliable returns as well. Now here's the interesting thing to remember, guys. Trustees are entrusted with safeguarding retirees' futures, not gambling on high-risk, unpredictable assets, isn't it? Now imagine, guys, if Bitcoin does go belly up, then this would be absolutely catastrophic news for them, isn't it? But at the same time, guys, it is only 3% of the fund that is invested, isn't it? But nonetheless, guys, regulatory advice warns against investing money that one cannot afford to lose. Yet this decision exposes the fund to potentially severe losses if Bitcoin price crashes. So it's going to be really interesting to see, guys, what is the feedback they are receiving, let's say 3 months down the line. But according to me, guys, based on the price reaction, it is definitely a positive news, isn't it? Let me know, guys, what are your thoughts regarding this. Now, guys, let's go ahead and discuss some interesting news regarding Ripple or XRP. And Ripple's market capitalization, guys, has surpassed $100 billion since late Saturday, and this has made a significant milestone as the price of XRP has reached $1.92, and such price of XRP was only seen in January of 2018, guys. Now this resurgence, guys, did actually come during a multi-week rally fueled by key market and regulatory development, and over the past few weeks, guys, Ripple or XRP has gained over 30%, with 30-day gains soaring to nearly 300%, and it has actually outperformed Bitcoin and other major cryptocurrencies as well. Now it's really important to note, guys, that the rally was bolstered by the reports that the New York Department of Financial Services is nearing approval of Ripple's stablecoin, that is RLUSD, which might just be launched in the next few days, 4th of December to be precise. And look, as if this is approved, Ripple will legally offer RLUSD, that is the stablecoin, to the public, further enhancing its market position. And there are also some really strong speculation regarding Ripple's ETF, and the speculation about the potential approval of the ETF has definitely added to the bullish sentiment, isn't it? Now look, as I'm looking at XRP's market cap right now, it is at a staggering $123 billion. It has definitely overtaken Solana by a really long margin. Solana's market cap right now is at $112 billion, and Binance BNB chain, guys, its market cap is at $94 billion. As a matter of fact, as I'm looking at the price of XRP right now, it has actually pumped up to $2.16. So it's going to be really interesting to see, guys, how the price of XRP reacts, as and when we get information regarding the stablecoin, that is RLUSD. And in just a matter of 2 days, guys, we will get concrete information regarding that, isn't it? So definitely keep an eye on that news. Now the final news, guys, I want to talk about is regarding Justin Sun, who is the founder of Tron blockchain, and he recently had a $6.24 million worth of banana that he did actually purchase at an art auction. And the banana, guys, was part of a duct tape artwork called Comedian, that is by Mauricio Catalan. Now if you do want to go ahead and watch the video, guys, I've gone ahead and put out the link in the show notes below. But imagine spending $6.24 million for banana. I'm pretty much sure the funds are going for a positive case, isn't it? So these were the newscasts on the cryptocurrency, blockchain and artificial intelligence world. Now let's look at two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now both the newscasts are connected to artificial intelligence. And the first news is regarding American University in Dubai, and they have launched Masters of Science in Artificial Intelligence. So let me go ahead and give out more information regarding this, because the American University in Dubai has introduced a Masters of Science in Artificial Intelligence program, and the course, guys, begins on 31st of January 2025, and the applications from there are now currently open.
and the program aims to position American University in Dubai as a leader in AI innovation and education in the region. And the career application, guys, is designed to enhance professional expertise in healthcare, finance, energy, and other sectors as well. And the program supports the UAE's goal of becoming a global leader in artificial intelligence. And the MSCI, that is Masters of Science in Artificial Intelligence, focuses on cultivating talent, advancing research, and building partnership as well. Because this particular curriculum, guys, includes subjects like decision theory, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. And they offer electives in computer vision, NLP, deep learning, IoT, robotics, and quite a lot more. And students must complete a culminating research projects, and leading academics and industry experts explore their education and its industry impact. An American University president, that is Carl Long, emphasized Abu Dhabi's role in promoting AI education for societal benefits. And this particular program, guys, is designed to unite academia and industry to promote AI innovation. And Dr. Najib bin Haldun provided an overview of the curriculum and employment prospects. And Ali Khalej, who is the Chief AI Officer of Digital Dubai, discussed AI's transformative industry potential. And this particular program, guys, aims to prepare students to harness AI for meaningful societal progress. And Dr. Welbazi highlighted the program's alignment with global AI demands and innovation. And there are quite a lot of research opportunities as well. And faculty-led AI research, guys, emphasized practical application and innovation potential. And the launch event concluded with a lively question and answer session, showcasing a really strong interest in the program. Now look, guys, I very strongly feel that the curriculum of Masters of Science in Artificial Intelligence should actually go ahead and include podcasts as a medium of resources in it. Because look, guys, podcasts do actually feature leading AI researchers, industry professionals, as well as innovators as well. And they do offer students diverse perspective and cutting-edge insights. And I very strongly feel, guys, listening to podcasts allows students to stay updated on rapidly evolving AI trends, technologies, and breakthroughs in a convenient and on-the-go format. And many podcasts, guys, they focus on real-world AI applications, and they do help students connect theoretical concepts with industry practices. Now look, guys, me personally, I'm completely hooked with Lex Friedman. His podcast focuses on artificial intelligence for such a long time, isn't it? And apart from that, guys, podcasts can definitely also help students with networking opportunities as well, because podcasts often showcase guest speakers, and this definitely inspires students to engage with industry leaders and also explore potential collaboration. And podcasting definitely enhances critical thinking as well, in my opinion. And I very strongly feel, guys, by exposing students to debates, discussions, and varying viewpoints, podcasts do encourage critical analysis of AI's ethical and societal implications. And when you talk about continuous learning, guys, podcasts definitely enable students to complement their academic studies with ongoing, self-paced learning, keeping them ahead in a fast-moving field, isn't it? So I'm definitely hoping that podcast is one of the main resources for students who are doing Masters of Science in Artificial Intelligence. Let me know, guys, if you agree to my assessment, or if you don't like listening to podcasts, because you're listening to one right now, isn't it? Now, guys, let me go ahead and discuss another news. And this is actually published by the official government media channel, guys. That is Emirates News Agency, and the website is www.wam.ae. And the news essentially is that DMCC, that is Dubai Multi-Commodity Center, they are building Web3 and AI connectivity with Vietnam, and they want to unlock $20 billion worth of trade potential. So let me go ahead and share more information regarding this, because look, guys, DMCC aims to strengthen Web3 and AI connectivity between Dubai and Vietnam, because they want to unlock a $20 billion trade potential. And this will be done under the new UAE-Vietnam Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, also called a CEPA or CEPA, was signed in October of 2024, and it did lay the groundwork for enhanced trade and technological collaboration. And DMCC, guys, hosted the second Made for Trade Live Roadshow in Vietnam, and it was held in different cities in Vietnam, and over 650 business leaders, founders, and startups attended the roadshow events. And there was also a dedicated event on scaling Web3 and AI investment, and it was co-hosted with Sightsee Labs, which is a top Vietnamese Web3 venture builder. And there were heavy discussions centered around how Web3 can drive growth in the $20 billion UAE-Vietnam trade corridor. And DMCC, guys, promoted its crypto center, gaming center, and AI center as resources for scaling Web3 business in Dubai. And CEPA, guys, that is Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, is expected to quadruple UAE-Vietnam bilateral trade to $20 billion in the near future. And Vietnam's role, guys, is recognized as a South Asian leader in AI and Web3, and Vietnam is seen as a strategic partner for Dubai. And the roadshow, guys, aim to deepen economic and technological ties between UAE and Vietnam. And DMCC's first Vietnam roadshow in June of 2024 engaged 412 business leaders on opportunities in Dubai. And the roadshow highlighted Dubai's value proposition as a premier global business and technological hub. The DMCC, guys, accounts for 15% of Dubai's annual foreign direct investment inflows, and DMCC also welcomed 2,700 new companies, marking its second best year in a row. And with over 25,000 member companies, DMCC now is a leading hub for global trade and innovation. And DMCC's efforts, guys, are extremely central to attracting FDI and fostering a dynamic business environment in Dubai. So definitely positive news for Dubai and Vietnam, isn't it? That's about all, guys, on the cryptocurrency, blockchain, and artificial intelligence world from Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes is going to be an Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's kick start with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. I have a question by Don who asks, Ripple stablecoin that is RLUSD is launching very soon. How could this reshape the stablecoin market and XRP global adoption? This is such a great question, Don, to be honest. Now look, Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin could be an absolute game changer, because when you talk about Ripple, it does solve a lot of the cryptocurrency and blockchain problems, isn't it? Now, at the outset, you should know, Don, that Ripple has nothing to do with blockchain technology as such. Ripple uses a completely different protocol. It works in IOU, and there are technically no miners as such. Despite Ripple claiming that there are miners, now I very strongly feel that Ripple stablecoin could potentially be a game changer, Don. Firstly, if you look at it, they would make cross-border payments even smoother, isn't it? So you can think of RLUSD more cheaper, faster, and more super reliable settlements. And banks and businesses would absolutely love it, and Ripple already has such a long network with banks, and I very strongly feel, because it is regulatory approved, RLUSD could now build trust in the cryptocurrency space, and this will get more institutional adoption as well. And looks as we have seen, the price of XRP has definitely got a massive boost, isn't it? Now imagine RLUSD being used for stablecoin transactions, while at the same time XRP handles liquidity. That is an absolutely powerful combination, isn't it? And along with that, if you look at the stablecoin market, Ripple could potentially challenge USDT and USDC as well. And they can do that by setting a new standard for compliance and efficiency. So the bottom line is yes, RLUSD might just not reshape the stablecoin space, but I do feel it can also help XRP become a go-to asset worldwide. Now regarding President Donald Trump, the founders are completely split if I'm not mistaken. One of the founders did heavily donate to Kamala Harris, while the second one is a massive fan of President Donald Trump and Republican. But nonetheless, because President Donald Trump is re-elected, I'm pretty much sure he's definitely going to promote US companies, isn't it? Now me personally, I'm not a fan of stablecoin issuers as such, because look, Don, according to me, they're literally replacing the role of a bank, isn't it? So when you talk about regulations, it does make a lot of sense for stablecoins to be regulated, and Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin will exactly be the same. And knowing the network of Ripple that they have all over the world, I definitely do feel it'll be a game changer, not for the payment industry, but also for the cryptocurrency and blockchain space as well. So definitely a really interesting question. And that's about all, guys, from the Ask Me Anything series from Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, share the word across. Remember, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto with Coffee podcast, where we cover top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and the Middle East, from the cryptocurrency, blockchain, and now artificial intelligence world as well. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.